Hi, everyone. I want to take a few minutes to go over a few slides and really just kind of have a first half of our semester overview. This isn't going to be long. My goal is to just kind of hit the highlights and summarize where we have been, what we have done so far in the semester, and just highlight some key takeaways that I want each of you to focus on as we head into spring break. So, like I said, this is not going to be a really long lecture. I know all of you have put in so much effort this semester in your assignments and in your discussion posts. I'm really, really looking forward to reading your interview reports, and I just appreciate all of the energy and the effort that each of you have put in. I know it's been a lot of reading, and we've been going at kind of a fast pace through this. And my hope and my goal is that after spring break, we'll kind of be able to be over the top of the roller coaster and on the downhill slide, and that there won't be as much information that we're trying to pack in. So we're going to kind of just take a little few minutes to kind of review. So I want to start with the deepest well. I know you guys finished this last week officially and made your last discussion post, and um, I just wanted to take a minute to kind of go through some of my key takeaways from this book. I think I told you guys at the beginning of the semester, this is one of my favorites. I love it so much. It was so helpful for me in learning how to work with children and honestly, even just adult clients as well, knowing the impact of events in childhood and how they play out and how they impact brain development and physical experiences, mental experiences, emotional experiences, relationships. All of those areas can be shaped by adverse childhood experiences. And so I really hope, and I think that Dr. Burke Harris does a great job of outlining all these things in her book. And I hope that you all made a lot of highlights and a lot of notes in your book that you'll be able to carry with you moving forward. But my number one takeaway from this book that I really want you guys to reflect on is this quote. So she says, I believe that we can rewrite the story of adversity and break the intergenerational cycle of toxic stress. I wrote this book for all the parents, step parents, foster parents, grandparents, and caregivers of all stripes who are trying to figure out how to give the little people in their care the best shot in this world, despite the difficulties life throws in their way, and often despite their own histories of adversity. I think this quote for me really captures the essence of the entire book. Obviously, this is her entire life work and what she has culminated into creating this book. But what I really like about this is that, you know, we're going to encounter so many different types of families, so many different types of caregivers. And I want you guys to think about that. You know, for every client that walks into your office, every family that you end up encountering, whether that be in a mental health setting or in a school setting, you know, you've got so much walking in the door. And there really is a story there. There's a story that each individual person in that family and in that system holds. And I hope that one of the takeaways from reading The Deepest Well is the importance to maybe slow down your assumptions, maybe slow down what you think the problem is, maybe slow down what you think needs to be done in order to fix the problem, and really listen and really understand and take the skills that are listed in this book, screen, utilize those questions on the ACE inventory, and remember those five takeaways of intervention: sleep, mental health, positive relationships, nutrition, and exercise. Remember those five things. And no matter what you end up doing or who you end up serving, don't ever forget the impact that those five things can have on any individual. And again, I cannot overstate that exists for whether you see 5-year olds or whether you see 95-year olds. That really cannot be overstated. So I hope y'all enjoyed this book. I would love, outside of your discussion posts. If you want to send me a message and give me a review of this book, if you think you would like this included, you think this needs to be included in future classes, I'd love to hear that. Any feedback or anything that you want to share in addition to that, I would be really open to. So always looking for feedback. And this is just personally one of my favorite books. So I'm really glad that everybody engaged with it as much as you did. So thank you again for your participation in this discussion posts. So I also want to kind of give an overview about this lovely textbook that I know I gave you guys permission to not read word for word in the beginning because I know I wanted you to prioritize the reading of the deepest well. But I want you guys to, if you haven't been able to do this, if you haven't been able to read it word for word, take some time this week in lieu of not having a longer lecture. I don't want you to look at this over spring break because I want you to actually enjoy your spring break. I think it's really, really important to rest and to rejuvenate so that you have the energy and the ability to finish strong in this semester and in your other classes and other areas in your life that you show up. And so, but I really want you guys to, if you haven't, taken the opportunity to really dig into these chapters that we've already covered, please do so. Please figure out a way to go back and review those. This is all going somewhere. This is all leading us to the next phase of this course. So we've covered historical and contextual trends and what that means for, honestly, adolescents in our culture and adolescent counseling and how we address that. We've discussed legal and ethical issues that are pertinent when working with children and adolescents. We've talked about the role of attachment and trauma and repair. We've talked about just the overall counseling process. And then the last couple of weeks, we've really focused on these 5 theoretical waves. So I know I've said this a lot too, that this is another area where you're going to have more a class specifically for theories if you haven't already had that. And this was just a really good summary and review if you've already covered theories. And if you haven't, then I think it was a really good introduction that you're going to continue to expand upon. So I know that was a lot of information. I know I feel like every week that we tackled one of those topics that kind of said, you're going to have another class about this, you're going to have another class about this, and you will. And, I want to assure you that, where's this going? This is all leading towards targeted treatments and interventions that are appropriate for clients that are children and adolescents, okay? So if you look ahead at our syllabus, if you look ahead at the other part of this chunky textbook, you'll see that we're about to start to narrow this down and really, really, really hone in on specific age groupings within children and adolescents and to find the appropriate treatment that can be used with this population. So we're going to be basically combining age with theory and then also their need for therapy, why they're coming to see you. So all of this has been, I want you to think about maybe a large funnel. We started out really, really broad and we're going smaller, 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 smaller to get down to the, okay, how do we counsel? How do we provide services to children, adolescents, and their families? So I know that the theories can be really overwhelming. I hope that you all were able to watch as many of those videos. I think they're really, really great opportunities to kind of peel back just, 1 or 2 little layers of the onion of each theory and kind of see it in practice and understand it a little bit more. Theory is going to be something that you're going to continue to come back to and reference within yourself. There are certain times when I review theories and I have to review what theoretical orientation that I am. And I really wanted to take a step back when we discussed theories and let you guys experience it for yourself without me putting my lens on it, because I think it's really important that you, again, know yourself. Y'all are going to hear me say that again, that you know yourself and you know what appeals to you and what you think makes sense to you. And I know that that's really hard in the beginning because at least this was my experience when I was learning theories. I remember I would start with one theory and be like, okay, I can totally see how that is true. Yes, okay, this is my theory. Absolutely. I'm 100% this. And then I would read about another theory and be like, well, crap. Okay, no, I think I believe this, or I think this is how people change, or I think this is what really motivates people to make changes. And then I would be like, okay, well, now I'm definitely this theory. And that cycle just kept happening. So if you found yourself as you were reading these last couple of chapters and even watching training videos, there were certain things that you liked about some theories, and other things that you didn't like about that same theory, that's okay. If it was really hard for you to identify one theory that you feel like you fit into, that's also okay. If you feel like very strong out the gate that you already know what theoretical orientation you are, I would say that's awesome. I would also caution you and let you know this is going to be an ongoing conversation with yourself and an ongoing experience, that I really hope you use the rest of your classes, and then your experience in practicum and internship when you actually start getting to have experience with clients, that you're able to question yourself. Well, I really thought that I was Adlerian, and now that I've, gone through birth order and really focused on that with, these certain clients, that really doesn't resonate with me, and I don't really think that that's what I want to use anymore. It's okay to do that. So, for the purpose of this class, I have no expectation that y'all are going to walk out just being, so confident of your theoretical orientation, and that's going to be it for now and for all time. I just think it's really helpful for you to get an overview and to start being aware that there are these different theories, to know that what you decide to do, the targeted treatments that you find, are going to largely be decided upon and determined on by your theory and by your theoretical view, of how we interact with life and the world and how it impacts us. So, again, I think before, you come back for spring break, before we move on, it would be really important for me, out of all of these areas that we've covered so far, is for you to really hit the theories, chapters again, and kind of familiarize yourself just a little bit more, with those different theories, and maybe start to have an idea of what you think about that. So, like I said, we're going somewhere. This is all leading to a purpose. Now, after spring break, we're going to be, honing in just even more on those targeted treatments and interventions. Okay, so, our interview report, our parent interview report, is going to be due March 9th at 11:59 p.m. I have posted instructions and a place for you to turn in this assignment, in Blackboard. I believe it is under a purple heading, that you can click on in our content folder. If you have any questions about that, please, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope that nobody's procrastinating and waiting until the last minute, but I also recognize that that is just the way of grad school sometimes. So if you have questions about that, please make sure to ask me before 5 p.m. on Friday, March 8th, so that I can be sure to accommodate your questions. So that is all that I wanted to cover. And the last thing that I will say is happy spring break. So, I really, really hope, like I said, that you're able to unplug and relax a little bit and take that deep breath that, we all need in order to get through the rest of the semester. So if you have any questions or need anything, please don't hesitate to email me.